everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
To the student meet and greet.
Hey.
It's all about students meeting and greeting each other, and I think our first conception was the fact that it was a day for the students to meet and greet the teachers as well. And it reminds me a little bit of the talk that we gave years ago when Sonia came, and we talked about the fact that every one of us has a time to be a teacher and a time to be a student. And we interchange those responsibilities all the
And one of
time.
the main things they wanted about you is that the chakras, everybody can name chakras, I'm sure here they are. Well, with the chakras, there are 7 basic energy areas, and it also means wheels of energy. And the idea is to get them straightened out. And so you start with the base, or the root, and that's either red or black, and it's for survival. And you can use different crystals for that. You could use rubies, you could use garnets, you could use obsidians. The second one is a pelvic area. It's for sexuality and creativity, and that's going to be orange. You can use carnelian. It's kind of hard to find orange crystals as well. Then you go to the solar plexus. Solar plexus is feeling. It's going to be yellow. We're going to do a meditation to help you open up the chakras. Heart.
We live long.
Some people say it's
Okay, that's good. And that's this kind of knowledge. This is in your head kind of knowledge. I began to understand that knowledge one summer after I'd lived in the Catskills without an animal, and found out that I really wanted to move. I really wanted to live somewhere and do something for a living that was with animals, and they didn't have to die for me to make any money on them, because that wouldn't have been acceptable. So a friend suggested
I try to maintain the attitude of a teacher most of the time. And there is a really big difference between a teacher and a preacher. Today I'm going to preach.
Okay.
One of the things that we've been talking about and what the council's been meeting on and all of this is to try and bring more of the spirit of the scientific approach that Dr. Tully propounded so much within, I don't even know if that's the right word, but the way he presented things was in a much more scientific manner. And a lot of times when we get into spiritual teachings, we have a tendency to get very emotional about it because it's a very fulfilling and real thing when we begin to sense the unity between ourselves and others. So then we get all washed away in this emotional journey, and it's like just beautiful. And we forget that what we're seeking after, Amber laid out very, very well, it's consciousness. We're seeking to expand consciousness. Everything else is a result of that expanding consciousness. Everything that we see, everything in manifestation. And yes, the Big Bang did happen, and the Big Bang witnessed itself. And we can get into some of those principles a little bit.
said that you could use a hair with a washer, but I don't know, that's kind of strong. Can you take your class and talk with a person? You're all familiar with pendulums, aren't you?
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Just
So this is
with a number of people, including Rich, over a number of years, involves a sense that I gained through my own relationship with the work of Rudolf Steiner, that there are tragedies that that can be averted. He warned about this again and again and again. Who's heard of Rudolf Steiner? Who's not heard of Rudolf Steiner? Okay. He warned again and again. He was born in 1861, died in 1925. During the period, especially after World War I, he gave many, many lectures in Europe, warning about the consequences if people did not learn to make vivid, living pictures. And the danger he saw was that we will fall prey to a whole set of abstractions, which is to say, well, really, an abstraction is something that is not a picture, but is somehow a thought. When we have thoughts that are abstractions, that they're not flesh and blood, they're not filled with
the time we're learning our language. We're little kids on the floor in front of the TV, and we're listening to news reports and people talking about the debt and all these other things, and those become, and oh, there's no future, we got to pay it, this, that, and those become these distractions that we're learning are very cultural, very accents, how we form ourselves, how we form our face when we talk, how we gesture, these very fundamental things that become part of us. And by the time we're old enough to really think about those things, they really become deep set, and they become reinforced by many things. And then the antidote to that, I believe, is for people to come together into groups like this, put some of those same problems in front of them, like maybe that they're experiencing, and talk about them in a new way. What if we didn't talk to them about them as economic indices and, well, sorry, you just got caught up in what's sure you had a bad spot at that time. What if we actually talk about the human aspect of it, what people can do, how people relate, how these problems come about, and so that's what we try to do. I mean, at this point in the discussion, so we've got people here that have already had, that were here last time, who've already had